Yuta Akotsu was never supposed to be the main character of Jujutsu Kaisen. And I say that knowing the fact that, yes, we've heard the things about how Yuta was supposed to take over as the main character after like the prison ward event where Yuji would have been killed off and things like that. But Yuji became too popular and they just ended up keeping Yuji. But my opinion is honestly the lines of Yuta was never actively supposed to be that main character and take over for Yuji. I'm only saying this for a few reasons on my end, which obviously I'm going to explain on my thoughts and opinions on this specific matter. But just dwelling into it, Yuta, yes, is incredibly strong. He has Rika and insane cursed abilities that really make him the character that he is. I do view him as kind of wasted potential in a lot of other senses, but I can't ever deny that his abilities and his powers are phenomenal. And they are just perfectly utilized in almost any way, in any thought process that you could ever think of. But in all fairness, I don't think he would have been and made an incredible MC, and I don't think he was actually ever supposed to be it anyways. Yuta starts off, and we like see it in like Jujutsu Kaisen movie Zero. He starts off as like this kid before he even figures out cursed spirits and everything else exists, and then eventually like learns and figures out about all of the things that go on in the middle of the night, to say. And once he does, and he has Rika, he becomes this special grade sorcerer that is just so incredibly strong, able to take on so many different levels of people. And we're seeing him now in the manga about to have to fight Sukuna and things like that. And we know he is incredibly strong, and we're never going to deny that. But in all fairness, Yuta and Yuji have a lot of similarities, obviously. But Yuta did need to kind of leave to go deal with whatever he needs to deal with because his abilities work a lot different from Yuji. Being around the area would have made it incredibly hard for him to actively learn and grow if he was stuck in the same place that he would have been if he was the main character, being stuck at Jujutsu Academy and everything else like that, being stuck in that area. Yes, he would have been perfectly fine being strong enough to deal with a lot of things because we've seen how incredibly overpowered some of his abilities can be. But in all honesty, he is just not completely written well enough for me to see the allure for him to being this main person, like possible main character and everything else like that. He's dope. I'm never going to say he's not. He is. But he's just not there. He has these incredible abilities with Rika, obviously, but the things that he lacks are the things that I honestly would value to be him, obviously a main character. Obviously, he's a side character, so we don't really need to see all of the character growth and the character development that we would have liked to see for a lot of the characters. And with the way the Gege be playing with his characters, wouldn't be surprised if somehow some of these characters just be dying out of nowhere. You can never really take that off the map and take that off the board completely, but you really just have to think. Yuta has these incredible abilities, but he needs to be away for him to actively learn how to use them correctly. He needs to be wherever he was in, where he needs to be in Africa. He needs to be wherever he needs to be to learn and adapt all of these abilities in the best way possible. And him being stuck as the main character and as the protagonist would have never been able to work in any singular fact, in any singular way. He's just too much of a factor, and you can't have Yuta and Gojo be in the same place the entire time. The entire plot would have just gotten completely useless. Gojo already is enough to deal with a lot of the main problems that they would have had to deal with. But if you really tell me that, oh yeah, we're going to have Yuta around the area too as the protagonist, the entire show becomes obsolete. Everything becomes really big overkill in all fairness because Yuta's just that strong. He's already called like the person right under Gojo, and he already has these incredible abilities to copy curse techniques and things like that. If you have him stick around as the main character, everything becomes useless because he's so strong. You can't have two people on this high of a level be the characters that you're focusing on. Most of those fights would have actively been useless because Rika basically deals with a good portion of the actual villains as of the moment. We've already seen what happens when Rika fights like people like Ghetto and things like that, and it's just not going to be fair for a lot of the things that they would have to be dealing with. Mahito would be struggling a lot more. All of the characters would be struggling a lot more if Yuta was the main character. He's too strong compared to where everyone else is on their level. And that's why I honestly prefer Yuji being the main character. Yuta's too strong and Gojo's too overpowered. We need at least somebody like Yuji that can be the middle ground, not completely overpowered and not weak enough to be like useless, but just right there in the middle that can be actively utilized in the best way possible without having to worry about things. Obviously, yes, Yuji does have to dip out for a little bit of time to do some training and things like that, but we know for a fact he's always going to be on the perfect level. He's not going to be too far up that fights become too easy, and he's not going to be too far down that fights aren't even possible. Yuta's on that too far up at point. Even like as of right now, he is extremely strong, but now he's just getting to the point where he's actively having to deal with real challenges. If we were talking to the point about like anything along the lines of where season 1 of JJK would be, Yuta's strong enough to deal with most of that fairly easily, and that would be a very big problem simply due to the fact of there wouldn't be anything else for anybody to be able to do. Yuta would just be there overpowering so many people that it would actively be useless to have a real story going forward. It's just one of those things that have been going through my mind this entire time that I've honestly just been thinking about and been noticing and just automatically just thought, why would anybody want him to be the main character? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work, and it doesn't like ideally make the best case for anything along those lines. But please tell me your opinions on whether Yuta should have been and become the main character of JJK or anything else like that. Give me your opinions down in the comment section below. And if you guys do actually enjoy this video, please put it down in the comments. Also, make sure to check out the link in the description where I have links to the sponsor for today's video, which is the Anime Royalty Apparel, which you guys can check out, which obviously anime merch if you guys would like any. They don't have a lot of designs at the moment, but they're working on creating a couple more for y'all that you guys might end up liking. But if you guys do end up actually liking some, please consider copying them down below. Link to the Discord is now available and everything else like that. I had to do a couple of reworks, but please just tell me what you guys think. If you guys do want to join the community, check all of that out. Link to YouTube membership is always down there if you guys want to check that out. But I will see you guys in the next video and everything else like that. Be ready for all of the what ifs that are going to be coming out fairly soon. And I just wanted to remind you guys that during February, I will be posting daily. So do be prepared for that, because it will be 3 what ifs per week instead of the normal 1, just because I want to at least get more content out here to you guys, obviously to get YouTube to push my stuff out and things like that. But I will see you on the next video. Peace.